Yes, this video is going to be about conspiracies and lies coming from the mainstream media, and I might have one or two, we're going to start with debunking just a couple things, and I don't think debunking is necessarily the right word. I want people to chill out on the conspiracy stuff coming out of Notre Dame. It's not going to help. You're going to get the mainstream media jumping down your throat, and here's the thing. Whenever it comes to conspiracy theory ideas, someone will say the craziest thing, and the mainstream media will use that to destroy any attempt at having an actual conversation about what is actually going on. And that's what we're seeing. And that's the point of this video. That you have some tweets from Mike Cernovich, and you had a Periscope from Cernovich, and a tweet from Paul Joseph Watson. And immediately Buzzfeed is trying to claim, like, they're trying to make it seem more extreme than it really is. Like, basically, Cernovich said something like, we're seeing stories pop up about this desecration and arson. And now BuzzFeed is trying to make it seem like Cernovich is pushing a conspiracy theory. And there's literally a clip from the stream where Cernovich is like, no, I'm not saying any of this is connected, but some fake journalist will claim I am. Like clockwork, here we go. This is why I think it's important. And again, I'll put it this way too. Like, if Cernovich is going to say, I'm not saying they're connected, but someone's going to lie anyway, and they lie, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, that's the state of media. But I am going to start with pointing to a couple things that I want to kind of, debunk, sort of, and just say, like, chill. Like, let's see what we can find. Let's have a calm and rational conversation about it, not jump the gun. Someone posted this tweet, this guy, Vernon. And again, I don't absolutely never fault anybody for seeing things like these and then wanting to call them out. But this is actually really interesting. So he says, no workers on site. Who TF is this? And in this video, it's relatively hard to see, but you can see a person right here, so I'll just watch. There's a person, and they're wearing some kind of hat and robe, and people are saying, who is that? Why are they there? There's no workers on site. But he goes on to say, this footage will go to the same place as the footage of an armed man in black arrested in the woods behind Sandy Hook Elementary. I watched it happen live. So I'm not going to get anywhere near any, like, come on. Here's the thing. Here's the actual video, I shouldn't say actual video, but here's a live stream from CNBC, and you can see there are many people here. There's many, okay? It's not a conspiracy. We don't know who these people are. It's not like one secret person wearing robes. It's like, oh man, there's one person there. It's like, no, hold on. There's a bunch of people there. And it's very likely that it's a very large building. There were people in the building. There were no workers on site. Maybe they were clergy. Or maybe, we do know the story that there was one priest who rushed in to save the crown of thorns. I heard that. I haven't, pulled that story up because I wasn't going to get into it, but there's this photo of this guy and everyone's hailing him as a hero. So yes, there may have been other people rushing in full speed to try and save what they could. There's really, really simple explanations for this. But look, of course, this tweet's got 5,724 retweets saying, who is this person? Well, we don't know who that person is. And it could be a nun. It looks like they might be wearing some kind of headdress, a nun of some sort, perhaps. And then we can see here, there's actually a bunch of people. I think a couple of them might be firefighters. It's hard to know for sure. But it's fair to point out they come from about both sides, on the left and the right. Potentially firefighters. So look, you always want to make sure you err on the side of the simple solution. It's Notre Dame. There's somebody wearing, what looks like a headdress of some sort and white robes of some type. I mean, honestly, simple solution, a nun. I've heard some people trying to claim there's no way that's a Catholic wearing those clothes. It's like, hold on. Who do you think would show up wearing those clothes, right? Like, no, it's probably just, grainy footage of clergy. But we do have another story. This is interesting, and people are bringing this up. And let's see, I have another tweet here that I want to highlight, so we'll pull this over. Pardes Saleh said, the famous St. Sulpice Church in Paris was lit on fire just last month. The month before that, an attack on St. Nicholas in northern France, and another fire lit in St. Elaine Cathedral in south-central France. There seems to be a recurring theme here. So this is, I believe this is from St. Sulpice. And yes, the church is on fire, a famous church. And it is absolutely 100% true there has been desecration from a low level to arson. So, yes, I think it's fair to point out, and this is what's mind-blowing to me, there's no evidence to suggest any of these are related. There was renovation going on at Notre Dame, and man, electrical fires happen. These things happen. And it was such an old construction. There was a firefighter who did a thread where he's like, look, there's fire is coming up and it's all timber. So yeah, I don't want to spend too much time talking about all of this stuff. I want to point out before we get into Buzzfeed pulling their business that yes, there is a pattern. There absolutely is. A bunch of fires were lit. Okay. What does that mean? Don't know. We don't want to speculate. But of course, even if you try and bring up the news, facts, like these fires happened, BuzzFeed is going to lie about you. But let's start here. Jane Litvinenko. Sorry, I'm not trying to pronounce her name wrong. I just can't read it. We've seen the, quote, Muslims celebrating with FB reacts hoax in many other attacks. There's simply no way to know the religion of people reacting to a video at scale. The screenshot also doesn't show the video itself. That's actually, that's just wrong. It's so weird. And they put a screenshot of Paul Joseph Watson saying, a brief summary of who is responding to the tragic Notre Dame fire with smiley faces on Facebook. Appalling. Nope. Nope what? First, I want to point out, Jane and people at BuzzFeed have highlighted fake CNN and fake Fox News accounts putting out actual fake videos. There's a video where someone superimposes the audio of some guy yelling Allahu Akbar, and they're like, nope, and they're getting it removed. This, however, is where it gets weird. BuzzFeed, Paul literally doesn't say Muslim at all in his tweet. Now, it could be because Damien Ryu, or I'm not trying to pronounce his name wrong either, is known for criticizing Islam, as is Paul Joseph Watson. But where do we get to just assume we know what they're talking about? I think you could, like, here's what I would do. I would see this and say, I kind of feel like they're talking about Muslims, right? I think we'd be stupid not to think that's a possibility. But you can't just go publicly and say, they're talking about Muslims. That's just not what they said, okay? Paul Joseph Watson quite literally did not say Muslim, nor did Damien Rue. I tried to find it. I tried looking for where the idea came from. I reached out to Ryan and said, "Can you point this? Can you show me where this was? I'm trying to find this." No response. And Ryan's somebody who typically responds to me, so it's really weird, really fucking weird that you would claim they said Muslims when they didn't. Sure, you are personally allowed to make that assumption, but BuzzFeed as a news organization should not be calling for fake news to be removed and then put out fake news themselves. Listen. There's a ton of people, there's like some comments where they're like, yeah, but we know what Paul Joseph Watson's bread and butter really is. Sure. Okay? Whatever you want to say about Paul making videos about Islam before, what if he's just right now saying, can you imagine there are people actually smiling about this? Because there are. Excuse me. So this is what Ryan says. InfoWars Paul Joseph Watson is currently amplifying a known French far-right influencer and troll, Damien Rioux. Ryan Broderick is a far-left troll, okay? And I say that based on his own explanation of what he's talking about. Because Ryan Broderick has referred to Count Dankula as a far-right individual. Dankula quite literally has a giant sickle and hammer star on its chest. At the very least, you can say Dankula was far-left and now has become much more moderate. Yet he's going to point... So here's the problem. If Ryan Broderick calls Count Dankula far-right, and Dankula is nowhere near the far-right traditionally or economically, like that literally makes no sense... Dankula is just like on the libertarian center kind of area, like most Americans and probably most average Westerners, liberal democracy, etc. But if Ryan's going to call him far right, I don't know who Damien Rue is. I've never heard of him. So am I supposed to assume now that Ryan Broderick is lying about Rue as well? You see, here's the problem. If Rue really is somebody who is far right or whatever you want to call it, Broderick is just, because he's tweeted about Dankula in the past, has lumped Dankula and Damien together. I know Dankula's not far right. I've spoken with him. I've interviewed him. I've talked about him, and I've watched his content. Guy's got a big sickle and hammer on his chest. He used to be far left. He has moved away from that. And I think Dankula did a political compass test, which put him right in the libertarian center area, which is like a moderate centrist, not far right. Am I supposed to believe that Ryan Broderick is saying they're the same kind of person? If that's the case, I can only assume that Ryan Broderick is a far left troll for two reasons. He called Dankula far right. That's just plumb not the case. You could argue that because Dankula joined UKIP, he is aligned with the right wing. That's fine, but far right, what? Like what is, like economically, he's a laissez-faire capitalist, he's a hardcore traditionalist? Neither of those are true, okay? So if Ryan Broderick is going to claim, Rue retweeted a sourceless video claiming Muslims on Facebook are posting smiley faces, whatever. Rue didn't say that. He said, Rue's tweet in French said something like, and look who's smiling at this. Which, yeah, maybe he was trying to insinuate Muslims. I understand that. But Ryan Broderick is the one who inserted Muslims. Okay? He didn't claim that. He didn't say that. The appropriate tweet would be like, this tweet came out from Paul Joseph Watson and Damian Rue, and it seems to be implying that Muslims are the ones laughing about this. In actuality, there are Europeans laughing about Notre Dame as well. It's very disgusting. But Ryan Broderick, if he's going to make this claim that they said this and they didn't, well, that's just plumb not true. I can only assume Ryan is trolling, okay? And if he's going to call Count Dankula far right, he's trolling, man. We know Dankula isn't. So I don't care about that one. There's this post. I don't know who it's from, but someone posted this, and I just have it pulled up. Because, yes, there are people laughing and cheering for this. This one's for colonizing African countries, they say. And then here's what Paul Joseph Watson actually tweeted. It's got 2 million views. He said, a brief summary of who is responding to the tragic Notre Dame fire with smiley faces on Facebook. Appalling. There's European names in here. There's American names. There's European names in here. There are a lot of names that are in Arabic. Not actually that many. There are some that you can presume to be Arabic, I suppose. But he didn't say Muslim. And you can actually look in this and see, European names. Walker. Well, Ibrahim. I don't know. Fred. It's like, listen. One of the things I will point out, because Paul Joseph Watson did post this. He said, go to France 24 Arabic. Yeah, if you go to an Arabic page, you will find a bunch of people with Middle Eastern names and Arabic names, and they're posting smiley faces, laughing faces. You can go to a lot of pages and probably see other names doing this too. So if Paul Joseph Watson and Damian Rue or whatever only go to an Arabic page to pull these and say, haha, look who's doing this, then that's not a good thing, right? That's a bad thing. But it gets... When Buzzfeed comes out and says they're accusing Muslims, all they do is confuse the issue. It's not what happened. Paul didn't say that. And the other issue is, Paul's just retweeting the video from Damien. Does Paul know what Damien's talking about just because he posted the video? Is it possible that Paul is literally just criticizing the idea that anyone would laugh at Notre Dame? Because, as I pointed out, this is being shared by conservatives. We don't know who this guy is. He's got an anime avatar character, and he's laughing about it. And it seems like he says about colonizing African countries. There's a lot of people who are laughing about it. But then we can move on to this. Ryan Broderick, once again, trolling, says, well, that's the wrong one. I jumped the gun. Ryan Broderick said, it took only 2 hours for a conspiracy theory about the Notre Dame fire to travel from Cernovich's Periscope to Russian state media. The conspiracy theory is based off an April 2 Wire story published by the Washington Post that Cernovich aggregated today. Cernovich responded, why lie? You're outright lying about what I said. And then we have this video.
That are resurfacing in light of the fire today in Notre Dame. Now, I'm not saying they're connected. Some fake news reporter is going to try to claim that I'm saying they're connected, which I'm not. But these stories are resurfacing on the internet, and we're here to...
So, Cernovich is basically saying, I'm not saying they're connected, but they are resurfacing. To which Broderick responded, these stories, quote, resurfaced on the internet because you resurfaced it. You were the biggest account to first pull it back up today. Ryan, you just resurfaced it. BuzzFeed is way bigger than Mike Cernovich. You resurfaced this. If Mike Cernovich is quite literally saying these are not necessarily connected, it's just a story that's been popping up, people are sharing it, and you're doing the same thing. This is why I can't stand these people, okay? Jeff Giss said, you're so triggered by Cernovich, you're not thinking straight. These stories like this one I shared are both truthful and contextually relevant. This is insane. If we have a pattern of churches being burned down, then why would you be surprised that people aren't going to start sharing these stories? And simply because Cernovich has followers doesn't mean it's his fault, because BuzzFeed has substantially more followers than all of us. So it's BuzzFeed's fault for resurfacing this story. Ryan, you quite literally posted an image of Cernovich talking about the fires and then claimed he's the one who resurfaced it. You're with BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed has way more reach than Cernovich, okay? I'm not saying Ryan is BuzzFeed. Ryan has substantially less followers than Cernovich. But the point is, you can't point the finger at Cernovich and say, how dare you say these stories aren't necessarily connected and people are sharing them, and then you quite literally do the exact same thing. It's all fake news. Let's see what else we got here. So Charlie Warzel tweets, Twitter fixes it after. Huge surprise. A whole bunch of vigilant journalists like Jane Lit TV, make a lot of noise about it, and then message spreads. Big tech feels ganged up on by the press, but honestly, nothing other than this seems to be about results accountability. Jane says, someone should tell big tech that I am very tired. Okay. All right, sure. Let's play your game. I'm going to go ahead and agree with you guys over at BuzzFeed that we need to absolutely remove fake news. That, you know what, if people are putting out lies and it's misleading people, we should absolutely get rid of it. You quite literally have an image here where Paul Joseph Watson doesn't say the word Muslim. They include the word Muslims. Even Damien didn't say the word Muslims. And in fact, someone else pointed out in other screenshots, I don't know where it is, but they were like, actually, there's a lot of European names in there. Okay, like, are you implying that Paul Joseph Watson and Damien Rue found a thread that had a mix of Muslim and European names to smear only Muslims? Or, you know, so again, I will point out, I'm not necessarily going to trust Damien Rue and Paul Joseph Watson. It's very possible they're dancing on the edge, trying to get people to think it's Islam. Sure, but that's an assumption. I can't make an assumption about what Paul or Damien are trying to say. Like, personally, I can. So here's how I would frame this. Paul's tweet seems to be implying there is a certain kind of person that's smiling, replying to this. But honestly, he's just talking about people who are posting smiley faces, so I'm not entirely sure, and I wouldn't accuse him of that. Damien Rue says something to the effect of, and now look who's smiling about this. That seems to be more of an insinuation about a specific thread he grabbed. Because as I pointed out, if you go to an Arabic page, and this is a page that Paul highlighted, yes, it's an Arabic page. So of course you're going to see Arabic names laughing. You can quite literally see other people who aren't Arabic laughing as well. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave. I'm gonna wrap it up with this, I suppose. Final thoughts. You quite literally have a video of Cernovich saying, I'm not saying they're connected, and BuzzFeed claiming they're the arbiters of truth. So yeah, if you guys want to ban news or whatever, then sure. Then we can point the finger at you, and that's the last thing we want. But you can't claim to be fighting misinformation, and then you decide. Like, let me explain one thing real quick. This is how they do the framing of the truth trick. She said, we've seen the, quote, Muslims celebrating with FB reacts, hoax, and many other attacks. Oh, she didn't say Paul Joseph Watson said Muslims. No, she framed it in such a way so that's the assumption you make. But Paul Joseph Watson didn't say that. So they frame it in a way. And they can go, oh, we didn't say Paul said Muslims. We didn't say that. However, Ryan kind of did. Because apparently, he says it's a sourceless video claiming that French Muslims on Facebook are posting smiley faces on a video of the Notre Dame fire. Now, it's possible that in Damien's video, he speaks and says, I don't know. When I reached out to Ryan where this came from, he didn't respond. So as far as I can tell, there's nothing written on Twitter where they talk about Islam. So BuzzFeed are far left trolls. I'll leave it there. I got more videos coming up later today. Next one at 1 p.m. I will see you then.